Joining me now to start the second hour is Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett of Texas. Congresswoman, good to see you. Let's just start with your reaction to the fact that there seems to be trouble in paradise between this bromance with Donald Trump and Elon Musk, and how you think that may play out.
Yeah, hopefully it's cutting season instead of cuffing season for these two. Listen, I think that Donald absolutely wants to cut the strings, but he really doesn't know how. I mean, this is a guy who has always decided that he wanted to surround himself with people that had money and or power. And right now, all he cares about is money. Listen, for those that felt like he was going to be their savior and be the guy that was looking out for the middle class, he has never been middle class. And so he's not looking out for them. We know that he is filling his cabinet, or at least attempting to fill his cabinet, with other people that are very wealthy. He is looking out for his future and what that will look like. And so that's why it is difficult for him to cut the strings, because he needs Elon.
I think he does too. Ooh, and I rarely agree with Jasmine Crockett, but I must say he does need Elon. I think Elon Musk is going to be very beneficial to a Donald Trump administration. As an advisor, I think that Trump's going to get a lot done with Elon Musk. I don't think that it's going to be a lot of stuff that universally will be agreed, upon by the general population. Most of us probably won't like this shit. But Trump is probably going to be very effective in moving some things along because of the things he learned from his last administration. And, he knows he's got a lame duck session about to start up here in a couple of weeks. And yeah, I have to agree with her there, though. Elon Musk, Trump is, he needs him. He really does.
Cutting season versus cuffing season, that is quite poetic. I appreciate it. It's kind of hard to go someone who put $250 million in your campaign, though. I don't know how that happens, leaving somebody on red like that. But in a serious note, Congresswoman.
Yeah, we can't just sit here and clown people who have $250 million to put in somebody's campaign, anybody's campaign. You have to take people like that seriously and not make jokes about them and not ridicule them. That's not going to get you anywhere. And they think it's funny. They got smiles on their face and they're giggling. They lost the goddamn last election. The Democrats lost the election, and they lost it in a horrible way. And to a person that they shouldn't have lost it to, Donald Trump. I really would think that you should be able to scour the country and find a goddamn Democrat to beat that man. But we couldn't. So here we are, laughing and giggling and acting immature when we need to be talking about some shit that we ain't got in decades. Nothing. It's time for us to get back on track. It's time for us to start asking for some things, and for our congresswomen to quit going around on this comedy tour and making jokes about Donald Trump and start doing something for people.
There is a real threat of conflicts of interest and national security threats that Elon Musk poses, being that close to the president, running the Office of Government Efficiency, and then also having as many tentacles throughout government with respect to the merger of private industry and where he sits. What are Democrats doing to stay on top of that and make sure that these potential conflicts of interest do not threaten the American people?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because they're busy cracking jokes and playing games. Elon Musk is a businessman. He's a very rich person, and he usually probably get most of the shit that he wants. And the Democrats ain't going to do anything to stop it. And that's the bad part. He picked a winner before the election. He picked Trump's side. He didn't start throwing money into the Democrat side. Trump picked him up as an advisor. They got a little team thing going on right now. I don't know how long it's going to last or if it's going to last. But Jasmine Crockett and the Democrats need to really devise a plan. And then Jasmine Crockett and that Congressional Black Caucus need to disband. They need to just give this shit up so that we can at least come back down to reality and quit going to bed at night believing they're up there fighting for us when they're not. At least we'll know they're not even there at all, and we'll know that they're not up there fighting for us, because right now they're up there basically bullshitting us, and that ain't right.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but I think the threat is already here. I don't think that this is a matter of if, but a matter of when. And it is one of the reasons that I am attempting to continue my service on the Oversight Committee, because it is going to be really important that in that committee, even if our chairman, Comer, does not want to have very real conversations about these threats that are being presented for all American people because of the conflicts of interest that Elon has, one of the things that people did.
If it's a real conflict of interest and he is deemed to not be eligible to advise Trump or any member of our government for that matter, then that needs to be said. But to go on a news show and call someone something that may not be true. If you're saying he's illegitimate or not eligible or whatever term or phrase you put it in, if it's not right, then you're just lying to people. If he's eligible to give advice to a president or anybody else, then we shouldn't be doing this, because a lot of people believe that. They hear it again and again that Elon Musk has some kind of say. He might in our minds, but if the United States government and the powers that be up there feel safe about it and aren't investigating him or onto him like they do when people in this country make them uncomfortable, even people who are born here in this country are surveilled and looked after. So hell, they might be looking into Elon Musk for all we know. But if they are, and they haven't found anything to disqualify him from advising the president, then it's just a little irresponsible to call the man ineligible when he really hasn't been deemed to be ineligible. That's all I'm saying.
Did not talk about a lot in that continuing resolution that Elon blew up. Part of it was really about him. It had nothing to do with additional monies being shelled out anywhere. It had everything to do with disallowing him from engaging in some of the investments that we believe that he is trying to do as it relates to China. We know that we have seen continual aggression coming from China. We know that Russia is not necessarily our best friend, regardless of the fact that Trump doesn't recognize this. And so
I'm just so damn tired of the aggression from China line. Aggression from China. China's paying our politicians. China owns land in the United States. China is our biggest. Who do we get more shit from? No one. China. We rely on them. This mic, that computer, them land, everything. China. And then we want to sit up there and act like we're at war with them or like they're our enemy. I think they act more like an ally based on the way we trade with them. We should really treat people who aren't our allies that way. Let people who are not our allies trade with people who are their allies. Let's not deal with them. You know what I mean? Shut it down. And it would harm China financially, but it would help us because we have to rely on our own self or some of our other allies to get some of these things that we're getting over here from China. And it won't be as cheap, I'm sure, but we won't be giving all this money to a country that we call our enemy, because they can take that and weaponize those dollars and put us in a bad place.
With him sitting in these rooms, with him not necessarily being put into a position where he has to be Senate confirmed, with him being able to actually basically
and that's another thing, folks. I'm sorry. I don't want Jasmine Crockett or any of the other ones, when it's the other side, to make you feel that everybody who has advised Biden in his administration has been Senate confirmed, or they have all been approved of or even known about. Because Joe Biden isn't in his right mind. So we know damn well he's received some advisement from some folks that are not elected officials. So you can stop with that for me. Let's be honest. Let's be fair. And let's talk about the sides appropriately a little bit. And then let's get back to this black stuff. Because we got some reparations that we got to get. We got a whole bunch of other stuff we got to do. And she's a part of the team that's supposed to be bringing those things down to us. But it don't look like she's going to be doing that anytime soon. So I will continue to push for the Black Caucus to disband. We don't need them. They are not helping us. I don't know if they're harming us, but they damn sure ain't helping us.
puppeteer the incoming president and having his own individual interests, whether we're talking about the contracts that he's looking for, those defense contracts, you know, those federal dollars, I'm sure those are not the ones that he's going to seek to cut. We really need to make sure that we are highlighting this for the American people and doing everything that we can, even if it means that we've got to go to Trump's Supreme Court and try to get them to do what they are supposed to do.
Wow. That sounds like you're not in a very good place to do very much anything. After you get your ass whipped in the Senate, and after you get your ass whipped over there in the House, then you got to go to Trump's Supreme Court to look for help, for some relief. And you say that, and anybody who's listening and understand what you're saying is that you guys are in a whole lot of trouble. You guys have to poke and prod and piss off the Republicans and hopefully get them in some kind of disarray close to what you're in, so they won't stay together and vote, and because it's going to be very ugly if they do. I hope that we can find a political way to get involved, to participate, and not just by standing on the sideline eating popcorn and cracking jokes. That ain't going to work. We're going to do a little better than that.
Which is to follow precedents and follow the law and follow the Constitution.
I want to play a portion of an interview that aired today with my colleagues on the weekend, and retired Lieutenant General Russell L. Honore, who was making the case as to why Musk is, in fact, a national security risk, particularly with respect to his ties in China. We'll talk on the other side of this. Take a listen.
This might be the only time I agree with Steve Bannon. He has questioned Musk's influence and his capability and his connection with the foreign leaders. Musk has conversations with Chinese president, with the Russian president. He's got an enormous amount of influence. I guess that's what comes with being the richest man in the world.
Absolutely does. And everybody need to understand that. And don't hate. Hell, he might be in a position to sit down and advise Trump on some shit that might benefit us. Maybe. Maybe not. Is it all for money? Will it be helpful to the country? Is a retired lieutenant general on TV making a plea to us who got no power, who know nothing about nothing as far as security clearances and all that shit go? Why don't he get a hold of the people that he know on the inside and have them do their job? If Elon Musk is a security threat, instead of whining on MSNBC to a bunch of people who can't help him.
Do you agree with that? Is, in fact, Elon Musk, or should he be seen as a national security risk?
He absolutely should be. I mean, it's been laid out. But this is a matter of really Americans deciding that they're going to stand up and say something, right? We know that when it comes to MAGA and when it comes to Trump, they believe that they have a mandate. But exactly what that mandate is, I don't know, because...
Well, you're not a Republican, so it's kind of understandable that you wouldn't know. I don't really understand what Jasmine Crockett's job is right now. You know, I mean, she's participating in something, and if it's just stoking some bullshit from the sideline, like she said, or she's gonna sit on the sideline and chill, or whatever she's gonna do, I wish she'd just do that, because she is not helping us. She is not helping us. I'm telling you guys, she is not helping us. She can turn it down a little bit and be a whole lot more effective by doing a little more walking and a little less talking. Got to rubbing elbows with some folks. She got a little recognition. And I wish that she had a true mission, a true plan, or something that was, you know, in her life's work and her heart that she could get involved in, and not trying to be a leader in the Democratic Party. Because leaders in the Democratic Party don't do anything but just go in the direction that the political winds blow in. And we don't need any more of that, especially out of our black politicians.
You know, he has made it clear that he's like, well, I don't know if I can really get the cost of food down. Well, I can tell you that his base needs to be loud about the fact that they want to be safe in this country. And I need people not to take it for granted that we do have oceans on the east and the west coast of us that are actually helpful to us. It's water that helps us. But with Musk and Trump talking about Canada and talking about Mexico and talking about expanding the United States, while also palling around with the likes of Putin, who obviously, in my opinion, has been in violation of so many international laws when it comes to deciding that he was going to go into Ukraine and how he has conducted himself in this war. I mean,
She's a congressman. And I understand that we have our ideas and our thoughts and our beliefs, and they're based on our parties mostly in this country. But whatever she feels about what Russia is doing right now, that shit needs to end. And if it does not end, the money that we're sending over there needs to end. We don't got it like that. We may have other leverage to shut that war down, as opposed to feeding a bunch of dollars and arms to Ukraine just to escalate a war that inevitably will be lost by them unless it goes nuclear and we get involved. And I just don't see the benefit. And I wish that our congresswomen were a little more responsible and informed about the shit they talk about, and quit trying to mislead people to cling to a party that just lost. And it lost because its folks are turning independent, Republican, not voting, can't get endorsements from unions that are supposed to be Democratic strongholds. Those are the things that we need to start paying attention to, you guys. Losing all the swing states, I'm telling you, we can brag and stick our tongues out and whatever we want to do to Donald Trump, but he won the election. And the 5th of November was the election, and ever since then I've been hearing nothing about him doing anything but nominating folks and talking like a person who's about to swear in on January 20th. And then I guess we all better get ready and see how this goes. I'm looking forward to it. I just am. I just think it's going to be one of the most exciting presidencies we've ever had. I don't know if it's going to move in the right direction for most of us, but I believe it's going to move. And I think that's what we need. We need to be awakened. We need to wake up. The Republicans and the Democrats have lulled us to sleep. We just sit here and just rock back and forth gently while they elect and re-elect and unelect and just play games with our lives. So we need something to jolt us to full awakeness, and then we can move forward from there. But we cannot continue to play this game and be sucked in by their agents, the Fox News for the Republicans and the MSNBC for the. It gets old. It gets old. And a lot of people, they have a busy lives. They don't have time to get all caught up in politics. And if they did, it would be a much better country. But some people just, for whatever reason, don't get as involved as I wish they could or would or should. But, that's neither here or there. But as long as we got our congresswomen, especially our black ones out there, doing nothing, fighting for nothing, arguing over nothing, then this is what we're going to get, is nothing.
Seems like we're living in the upside down, and we need some real adults in the room. And right now, I don't see that he has picked any to surround himself with that will talk about the fact that this is not The Apprentice. This is not a TV show. This is real life, and real Americans are relying on him to step up to the plate and actually be the president of the United States and not be a guy that is going to submit himself to the likes of Xi Jinping.
All right, Congressman, every time that
Wow, Xi Jinping, I don't think. I mean, Trump was our president before. I didn't feel like Xi Jinping or Putin or any. I didn't feel like he was getting punked out there in the international. I do feel he was a little green, though. I do feel Trump had some moments when you could just tell that he didn't have the, all the things that go into being a president. You know what I mean? The decorum and all that. He's a little raw, a little rough around the edges. But shit, I don't know. I don't believe he was ready for that. And he probably ain't ready for that shit this time. But he's way more ready this time than he was before. And I just don't think bad mouthing him is the way. Democrats got this thing now. They know they can't vote on shit and win because they're in the minority in both houses. They got the Supreme Court in case shit get fucked up over here. They got to go over there, and it could get worse. But the thing about it is, we need to understand that our tactics right now aren't going to get us where we need to be. That's all. And it's a very short term tactic. Hopefully, just until Inauguration Day. If it goes on beyond that, it's not going to be good. Should end, and it should have ended already. It never should have started.
We talk, I feel like I'm asking you what Democrats are about to do. You are no longer a freshman member anymore. You survived one of the least productive sessions of Congress ever. What is the strategy that Democrats have going forward? Because I don't know that pointing across the aisle and saying that our Republican colleagues can't get it done is going to be enough.
That's exactly what I said. And thank you, sir, for waiting until the end of this bullshit to say it. But all what you said and what she said is to basically say, sitting over here and sticking your tongue out on them ain't gonna get it done. You're gonna have to do something. Now let's find out what she gonna do.
Well, definitely that's part of the strategy. I mean, yes, this was the most unproductive Congress that we had in the 118th Congress, but we were talking about the fact that we at least still had the presidency and we had the Senate. Well, right now it is a Trump trifecta. And if y'all really believe that y'all have a mandate, well, guess what? Technically, you don't need the Democrats. You can get it all done amongst yourselves. So I absolutely...
She keeps saying that because she's praying that the Republicans crack or fall apart, and they might. I mean, it's either party is not guaranteed to stick together through everything. They're already bickering and arguing over the deportation and one bill or three bills or two. It's not going to be smooth. We know this. But we don't need either party rooting against the country. If Donald Trump has a plan or a bill or an act or something that he wants to implement and it's going to be good for the general American population, then we should not be hating on the sidelines. We should be trying to get that done. What we should be doing on the sideline is trying to let them know that black people are still being abused in this country. There's a lot of black men still locked up in this country for the fact that they weren't educated properly growing up. And with the lack of opportunities, your chances of going to prison in a country that hates you to begin with are greater. And that's what they need to be talking about. Maybe I'll write that down and send it to her.
Plan to sit back and watch them try to figure things out by themselves. Now, we know, at least on the House side, that they have always been unable to do this. We know that they have a slimmer majority, but the longer that we can stand together and say, no, this is your problem, because we are not going to be the ones that are going to be on the front lines of trying to inflict the very same pain that we campaigned against, whether we're talking about getting rid of Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, all of the things that they have talked about. We just heard Hakeem Jeffries on yesterday talk about the fact that these are not entitlements. These are literally benefits that people have worked and earned. And so, no, we will stand up for the American people at all times.
You stand up for the American people at all times by standing on the sideline and not doing nothing and letting the supermajority figure it out. You guys could still be a part of the progress. You could still be a part of this. You don't have to be a Republican to help. You don't have to be a Republican to be a part of this. Do you guys have any colleagues or friends over there who you can talk to and holler at and who really respect you and trust you? Or is this country really that screwed up? I mean, is it really that bad? Because if it is, just start speaking on it. You guys act like gang members. You guys are so divided like that. Like, you can't just let things go, work things out, not get what you want. They might not get what they want. But at least somebody's going to get something as opposed to neither side getting anything, which is how we've been rolling over here. I think everybody's a little tired of it. And I don't think that we saw much of a change coming with the Democrats. So we threw our shit over there as a country to Trump. And hopefully he'll, turn this bus around.
And we will make sure that we are making it clear. I think that it's going to be important that we have a real rapid response team when it comes to communications. We cannot allow their lies to sit around and fester and grow, because in that void, it ends up becoming truth. And honestly, our silence is complicit. And so we've got to make sure that we're speaking up, speaking out. And
once you're sitting back chilling, now you're speaking up and speaking out. So that's what I'm talking about. She want to speak up and speak out in a non-productive way, in a way where you're sitting on the sideline and just, hollering and heckling, as opposed to getting involved and really doing something. So being vocal doesn't necessarily mean it has to be coming out of your mouth. It could be action. Take action, and that's what she needs to be doing. And this is her going into her second term as a congresswoman, and I just wish that she would get away from those new friends she met and do a little bit different for us, because you're not going to get anywhere hanging around those old people over there. That caucus, the Black caucus, is just a bunch of people sitting over there just making us hoping to make us believe that they're really doing something for us, and they're not. And if you're a member of that, you're not either, Jasmine.
And of course, you're going to hopefully have me sitting on oversight and judiciary in real time, calling out their lies and making sure that we are not only doing this in committee, but we're doing it on podcasts. We're doing this on radio morning shows. We're doing this on the traditional spaces such as MSNBC and other networks. But also for those that are okay with going on those other ones that I don't talk to, we're going to have to.
That's what I'm talking about. If you want to get out there, go into the fire. Go on Fox, because what you're saying won't be as accepted, and it will be an adversarial audience, but it'll be worth it. If you feel like you're saying something that makes sense, you can only preach to the choir. You cannot go and make sense to an adversarial crowd, which is what you're going to have to do in order to have a real good part of the country understand who you are and where you're coming from, and have respect and an understanding of you, as opposed to you just being a heckler and all that stuff. That's not good. But go into Fox News, go into some of these other networks that aren't so friendly, and try and find a neutral one here and there, and be part of the solution, not the problem.
Reach out to there, because we are going to have to do more than just preach to the choir, but we are going to have to educate folk that seemingly think that they don't see the world the same as we do, but we're going to have to let them know that we are their real champions.
No matter what they say, that they're not our champions. The Democratic Party is not our champions. For her to come out of her mouth with that as a Black American is sad, because she's willing to trick and fool she has frustrations with the party, and she needs to share them with other Black people so that we can have an understanding and not believe they're perfect. And then in her heart of heart, she knows it isn't, but she's not willing to share that with us. And we need to know, because there's some deep problems in the Democratic Party, and we come to the time when we need to just get it moving and get it cracking, and Black people in this country need to do what they're gonna do. That's it. Move on, move up, move out.
I got about 30 seconds left. How much pressure do you think is on Democrats to really make it clear what Republicans aren't doing as we go into this new session of Congress?
Yeah, I feel more pressure now than I did in the 118th, because at the end of the day, we have midterms that are coming up in 2 years, and we are so close to taking the House.
Well, you would feel more pressure, Jasmine, I would imagine, because you're going into a new Congress, and you have a damn Republican majority in the Senate, Republican majority in the House, Supreme Court. Yeah, I'd feel a little more pressure. When you get your rookie season, you had Biden and Kamala, and you're a Democrat. It should be a huge difference this time, not no little difference. It should be major. You think you guys were unproductive last time. The Republicans should not have that problem. You guys are going to be as unproductive this time as you were last time. That's like, why are you there? Why?
There's only going to be a 2-seat majority in a few days, where it's 217 to 215. And so we really need to take the House. And so we can do that in 2 years and hopefully really start to thwart this terrible Project 2025 agenda. So it's going to mean everything. So we're going to get in there and we're going to work hard.
All right. Hey, let me say this, you guys, because we had a lot of Project 2025 talk going on during the election. And apparently still, you know, I was under the impression the way they were talking about Project 2025, that it was like illegal shit going on. Like they were about to implement like a new world order in the United States to where we were going to not understand this country anymore. That's what I was getting out of Kamala Harris's campaign. And that's the kind of, I'm getting little hints of that from others. And if they're doing something that's illegal, and they're going to use the Supreme Court and a trifecta on us to do it, I mean, it's like, this should be really interesting. Because I just don't think the American public going to sit around and just let that slide like that. It just ain't going to happen. We got a lot of fighters in this country on both sides, on every side. But hopefully, we can get a government going for us that can act as a what a government should, a mediator. You know, when you have so many people within the population in these states, you need a mediator. You need somebody who's going to go down there and make sense to the people and let the people who know, you know, that it's going to be better, that it's going to be better. And let the people who think that they know everything know that they don't. But you got to, as a politician, you can't just lie to the people. Sometimes you got to really go out there and solve their problems. And I want to hear less talking and more walking. Because I'm getting a little tired of the talking from our politicians, especially our black ones. Another podcast, 2 black people. What was it? How long this damn thing lasts? And did they speak anything about black people? Where has it gone? What have we done that makes them not even talk about us anymore? Is it because they don't care, or is it because they think we're already good and we got enough? That's where I'm at. That's what I need to know. Anyway, folks, like, comment, share, and please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.